Chopper 4.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was talking to my pilot. He's trying to give me a visual cue as to where the aircraft is. I'm still trying to find it.
No problem. When last we checked, we were told that it was about 8 miles out. That was a few minutes ago. Folks were waiting for this small plane to make its arrival into Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport with landing gear problems. It left the airport 6:30 this morning. And there we go. We have a live picture now. Tony Jerez, thank you so much, up in Chopper 4, as well as our pilot, Marcel. They have been working to get us these live pictures, and there you see this plane coming in. Joining me right now on the phone is Kathleen Bergen. She's with the FAA. Kathleen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you tell me what information you have so far about what's going on? We just know about landing gear problems and problems with the wheels locking. Can you tell us any more?
The aircraft with 7 people on board was coming into Fort Lauderdale Executive from the Bahamas this morning. As you saw from the video, the main landing gear was not fully extending, and the crew has been circling the Fort Lauderdale area and out over the water for the past more than an hour trying to get that gear down.
Now, Kathleen, we do know that when they first started circling, there was about 3 hours of fuel, 3 hours worth of fuel on this plane. We know now there are about 2 hours worth. Is it going to be important to try to dump more of this fuel on its way in?
Well, certainly the crew is using fuel as it has been circling around, trying to get the gear down. They do go through a checklist and undergo certain procedures to try to get that gear down. So they're using fuel as that is taking place. And I'm hearing reports that the gear has extended, but I don't know that for certain.
Okay, yes, we've been talking to our chopper pilot as well as photographer, and they say that there are 3 green lights reported, even though they're still a little shaky about what exactly the situation is. 3 green lights means that all landing gear is down and locked?
I think at this point they'll be relying on visual reports from the controllers at Fort Lauderdale Executive Tower to tell them whether the gear is fully extended or not.
All right, we're looking at these live pictures as this plane makes its way in, and we can see these wheels very clearly now, obviously down. At this point, we're waiting to see whether or not they are locked in place as this plane makes its way into Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. As you said, Kathleen, it was leaving the Bahamas this morning, making its way in when it had these landing gear problems. Is there anything that you tell the pilot to do in a case like this as we watch it land?
In the case of an emergency, the pilot asks air traffic for direction and support. It's the pilot's decision as to what he or she wants to do in terms of coming in for a landing.
All right, Kathleen Bergen, thank you so much for being with us on the phone. We're watching this plane has just touched down, and it looks like all 3 landing gear have locked in. They're working. That plane made it down safely. All 7 people on board now safe. Kathleen Bergen with the FAA, we thank you so much, as well as Tony Jerez and our pilot Marcel in Chopper 4. We're going to stay with these pictures a little while longer just to make sure that it is able to come to a complete stop. We've seen so many times planes land okay, but as soon as they come to that stop, the landing gear collapses. So we're just waiting just to make sure everything is okay. 7 people on board. As you heard Kathleen Bergen from the FAA say, these people were on their way from the Bahamas this morning to Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport when they experienced those landing gear problems. And that's when the pilot tried to burn off some fuel for about an hour's worth of fuel he burned before making his way in. And as you can see, it looks like everything is okay. Is Kathleen Bergen still on the phone with us? Okay, no, we've lost Kathleen. No problem. We're going to continue just for a few more moments just to watch this plane taxi in on the runway. As you know, fire rescue crews standing by just in case they're needed. It was just such an uncertainty as we were watching this plane come in for the past half hour or so. 6:30 in the morning, leaving the Bahamas, coming into Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. From what we understand, it was supposed to then go on its way to the Caribbean, but instead experiencing landing gear problems. No doubt it will get rid of all of its luggage, and the folks on board will be able to come off and hopefully be able to jump on another plane and get on their way. Folks, you've been watching these live pictures from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. Breaking news out of there. Everything is okay. Crisis averted. Keep it right here for a full wrap-up coming up on CBS 4 News at noon.
And somehow it just ends up